Hello chess friends and lovers of chess. This is an amazing game which was played in the year 2014 in the Blitz section of the Zurich chess tournament. Magnus Carlsen is playing the white pieces against Viswanathan Anand, who played the black pieces. Magnus started with knight to f3, d5 by Anand, b3, c5 followed. After e4, pawn takes on e4, knight to g5, attacking this pawn. Knight to f6 defends the pawn. Knight to c3. There are two attackers to the pawn now already, so white can grab his pawn back. Black went on with knight to c6. Bishop to c4, putting pressure on the pawn on f7. That pawn is attacked twice by the knight and the bishop. Anand defended with e6. Bishop to b2, bishop to e7. Magnus castled, Anand castled. Knight on c takes the pawn on e4, taking back his pawn. Knight takes on e4, knight takes on e4. In this position, black went for e5. The idea behind e5 is an attempt to close the center with the knight and suffocate white's dark squared bishop. So if knight gets to this square successfully, this bishop will suffer because a move like c3 also blocks the bishop. Magnus spotted this idea and went for a move that removed one of the strong holder of the center. He played f4. Pawn takes on f4. And naturally, you would think rook takes the pawn on f4 is a good way to continue. Obviously, you are right. However, this is not how grandmasters think. They have a spectacular way of thinking. Here, Magnus Carlsen went for queen to h5 first. He brings out the queen, supporting the bishop to pressure on f7. Soon, the rook is coming, and the second rook will join the attack. In this case, knight to d4 followed. In this position, there are two pawns that are hanging. The pawn here on f4 and the pawn here on c5. It is in this position that we should learn how to make a decision on what to capture. In this position, Magnus Carlsen made a decision that favored him and gave him advantage in the game throughout. Let's consider the two pawns. Let's talk about this pawn first. Let's say knight takes that pawn, that is, Magnus Carlsen takes the pawn. g6 follows, attacking the queen that defends the pawn. If the queen moves to somewhere safe, like retreating back home, somewhere here, bishop takes the knight and the knight is lost. To keep eye on the knight, you will love to play a move that still defends that knight by moving your queen to e5. This move is multi-purpose. The first idea is to protect the knight. Second idea is to support this bishop on b2 to attack this knight here on d4. In this case, what to do? Black will spoil this idea and play bishop to f6, trying to still remove that queen. So, if queen takes the pawn, this move is brilliant, such that we give out the knight, bishop takes bishop on b2, attacking the rook with tempo, and the knight here on c5 is still hanging. Let's consider two good moves here. Let's say, for example, we block the bishop from retreating and having room to make this check on d4 and pick up the knight. Black would love to take the rook, and if rook take back, you will notice with material advantage and piece activity, black has upper hand here. On the other case, if the rook is saved moving to b1, then you allow black to play this. This check to the king. King will move inside. Bishop takes knight. Black has the bishop pair and an extra piece, the bishop. That is a massive compensation. We are back to this position. We have analyzed taking that pawn on c5. So Magnus went on with a good idea by taking this pawn instead with the rook. g6, attacking that queen. Since we have 3 attackers against the f7 pawn, queen was supporting and the rook, so it's a good idea to cut out or chase out one of the attacker. In this case, Magnus plays queen to e5. b6 followed, defending that pawn. Rook on a to f1, doubling the rooks on that f file. After bishop to f5, trying to stop those 2 rooks from having access to that pawn, there is a continuation that Magnus missed in this position. There is a spectacular rook takes bishop continuation. If pawn takes, rook take, the knight cannot take, and if the knight takes the rook, there will be a checkmate here after queen to h8, checkmate. In this position, Magnus Carlsen went for g4, still trying to kick that bishop away. Bishop went back to e6. Bishop takes the bishop on e6. Pawn takes on e6. Rook takes the rook on f8 with check. Bishop takes on f8. Knight to f6 check. After king moved to h8, Magnus Carlsen missed a combination in this position. Can you find it? You can pause the video from here and try to work it out. However, let me show it to you. There is a brilliant knight move to e8, opening the discovered attack on the king. If the bishop blocks, queen take bishop is checkmate. In this position, if the king move, we can still furthermore attract the king to the corner by this move. King takes, rook take bishop is checkmate. After knight to f6 check, king to h8, Magnus went for an idea with c3, knight to c6, attacking the queen. Here Magnus found the finishing move by playing knight to e8 check. In the game, king to g8 was played, then queen to h8 check comes up as sacrifice. King takes, rook takes the bishop on f8 is checkmate. In this position, you might be wondering, what if black actually takes the queen? Then the checkmate happens after rook takes the bishop on f8. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more, like the video and share to your friends. See you in more videos like this on this channel.